Do-Rag Wisdom here, folks, and welcome to Earth Date Y2K 18.06.04. 155 days until the midterms, and you better believe that I'm going to be out there voting in the most important election since the last year's one. And now it's even more important. This is once again, if you'll indulge me, folks, this is about Samantha B. and about never apologizing to deplorable people again. The Trumputin creeps, everybody, you have to remember, they are using the Orwellian technique of doublethink. They hold two opposite beliefs in their stupid brains at the same time and pull one or the other out of their asses whenever it's convenient for them. So they could be for one thing and then against it the next day, and they'll always say, I was never, ever, ever against it, or I was never, ever, ever for it. And these creeps who use terms like grabbing female genitalia, calling John McCain a failure or whatever, because not a hero because he was captured, insulting Gold Star families, forgetting the names of people that were murdered in the military under his watch. This Trumputin creep, calling these players sons of bitches because they wouldn't stand calling Mexican rapists and criminals. I remember this. I remember all this stuff that this creep has done and said, comparing favorably Nazis to people that protest against them. How about the person, Heather Heyer, who was murdered by one of these creeps? So I think about everything, that every piece of garbage, slimy lie that's come out of this Trumputin creep's sewer, this anal mouth of his. And I remember, and when he separates children from their parents because they decided they wanted to come into our free and open country that he's trying to turn into a fortress, that scumbag. He separates the parents from the children like the Nazis used to do. So when Samantha B sees that slime ball, clueless creep, Ivanka Trumputin creep, cuddling her child, doesn't she understand that at the same time she's cuddling her child, that there are other people out there losing theirs? And by the way, we did lose, literally lose. This country lost. What a nightmare. What evil. I'm happy what Samantha B did. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But we have to remember the doublethink. All of a sudden, it's wrong to call this creep daughter of his out for what she is by another woman when she does something inappropriate, when she doesn't show empathy, doesn't show compassion. The normal way to respond to evil creeps like that is exactly the way Samantha B did in this era, when the creep in charge of our country can say and do anything he feels he wants. And they say it's wrong when she does that, and she has to apologize. I want you all to remember, folks, that's doublethink. Absolute doublethink. Samantha B and Kathy Griffin before her made one mistake. They apologized to scum, but at least Miss Griffin took hers back. Other than that, both of them are now enshrined in my Hall of Fame for speaking truth to scum, truth to hypocrites, truth to Orwellian-style totalitarians who employ doublethink and revision of history and newspeak, among other things. I don't care how they did it. Miss Griffin with her fake Trump traitor head, Miss B with her use of the C word at Ivanka von Douchebag. B and Griffin are both heroes to me and will always be. And they will always be remembered as those who stood up on the right side of history so that future generations could have it better. If there is one thing to learn from this era, is that you never, ever apologize to deplorable people, no matter what and no matter when. Samantha Bee should immediately take back her apology to Ivanka Trader Trump for calling her the C word. Samantha Bee is an intelligent human being and keen satirist. She also has something that the Trader Trump family does not have: compassion and empathy. She is chronicling this era, as many of us are doing, an era that could be the beginning of the end of our democratic republic. She, as the majority of us are, outraged daily by this Trader Trump horror show, an act of disgusting political pornography and snuff filming. This is an evil administration, folks, doing the bidding of Putin and his fascist totalitarian oligarchs. This is a despicable regime, a toxic swamp, spreading a disease that will infect our country for generations to come. Will we ever forget that under our watch we allowed a scum, a turd, a dick to separate children from their parents because they dared to try to get into our free and open country that he's trying to turn into a fortress? A freaking fortress! I will never forget when I personally was separated from my parents during their divorce. Way back in 1955-56. Children experience the full intensity of life until they become jaded, unfeeling shells in their late adulthoods. And while they experience the intensity of youth, they experience too, with the same intensity, the evil that we adults wreak upon them. Thank you, Samantha Bee, for calling out the rich for what they are: evil, evil, evil scum! Shame! Shame on us for allowing them to come into our government. Shame on us for not getting out to vote to make sure none of this would have happened. In my initial broadcast on Samantha Bee, I was reacting with anger over her apology to the slime balls. But as I've read more about this incident's background, what led up to it, I learned that Miss B's ire was raised when she observed Ivanka Trader Trump, as I said before, cuddling her child while her father and his Nazi troll, Jeff Sessions, were separating parents who illegally cross our border from their children. These Trump-Putin creeps even lost track of where they sent some of these youngsters. After all, why should they give a damn for what happens to the inferior brown races? These KKK Nazi scum. How is a sensitive person, a person with some empathy, going to react to the evil they are seeing unfolding in front of them? How is an honest person supposed to reconcile the evil being perpetrated in the name of making America great through the cruelty to innocent children? How do we reconcile that, folks? Samantha Bee reacted as I would by calling out these traitor birther creeps in the most gross way that she could. Because these people consider kindness as weakness. And when we go high, they simply get under us and kick us in the ass from underneath. How dare Ivanka Trump cuddle her child when her father's regime is attacking other people's children? How dare she? Samantha Bee threw shit on her protest by apologizing. You never apologize to fascist scum, ladies and gentlemen, especially fascist scum who lack basic human values such as compassion and empathy. I mean, good people, that is. Never forget that Trader Trump prides himself on flushing convention down the toilet. He has been running on hatred since the very beginning. His goal is to follow the orders of his boss, Putin, to take down our country. Putin has insulted and bullied everyone. He is a lying, totalitarian, double-thinking turd. And when he decided to punish innocent children too, he finally graduated into pure evil. And Samantha Bee was right for calling out the traitor Trump's creep daughter for displaying her child when others have lost theirs. We of the USA are in a cold second civil war right now. The rules of engagement have changed. Our right-wing GOP Trump enemy has no respect for us. The Trump and Ivanka goons want to hold us to some kind of double standard where they are allowed to abuse us with impunity while we have to watch every word that we say. Samantha Bee, please take back your apology now. Never apologize to hypocritical, totalitarian, deplorable people again. And if we do it alongside you, we are going to lose this civil war and our country with it to that scumbag Putin.